Being with the dogs is like being in a bus that's loaded with lottery winners. These dogs are all happy. They're excited. You can tell that they know something good is about to happen to them. I don't honestly believe that they know what is about to happen to them, but you can tell they know something.
And they're probably picking up off of your energy as well. You're happy.
And we're all playing off of each other's energy at that point. And at that moment, that is the most truly magical thing, to be in the trailer with those dogs at that point. I've got volunteers stationed all along the way that come out and help me keep everybody walked, watered, loved on, reassured. The volunteers are awesome, and there's a lot of them too.
That's your rescue angels, correct?
Yes, that's my rescue angels. And all of this is kind of planned out. Everything that I'm doing has a little bit of a plan to it, and that plan is to make sure that the dog's home is perfect. I was in the restaurant business for a really long time. I can tell you that when the plate hits the table, 50% of the battle is won or lost right there at that point. The exact same thing with rescue transport happens too. When the dog comes out of the trailer, you want the dog to be happy, fluffy, bouncy. You don't want it to be scared. You don't want it to be covered in poo. And you want those first few seconds with the adopter to be absolutely perfect. I didn't take a week out of my time to set the dog up to fail. I want the dog to win. So those first few seconds are critical of getting that love bond really happening, and 50% of the battle is won or lost right there at that point. And it's heartwarming when you see it all happen and when you see it all come together. We're just trying to set everything in motion, that everything happens correctly, and the love connection is immediate. There are a handful of dogs that are going to come out timid and everything. Generally, though, the rescue has let the adopter know, hey, you're getting a dog that's kind of timid. There's not a whole lot that can be done in that case, and the adopter is usually up for the challenge. It's never a surprise to the adopter. What you're always hoping for, there are no surprises between the adopter and their dogs. And most of the time there's not. The rescues are really good about informing the adopter of the dog's temperament, of the dog's personality, so that the right dog goes into the right home. It's really tough for a rescue to get the wrong dog into the wrong home thousands of miles away from them. Then they've got serious problems to deal with. So they work very diligently to make sure that everything's going right for the dog, everything's going right for the family. They don't want any mismatches. This is not to say that adoptions are 100%, because they're not. If you drive a vehicle and you're out on the roads, there will be an accident occasionally, and that won't be much of your fault in a lot of cases. In a lot of cases, there's the same thing will happen with the adoptions of dogs. You'll get one wrong occasionally. Even as a rescue myself, and for as long as I've been in this, I don't expect my adoptions to be 100%. But when it's not working, the first thing, I want that dog back, and I want it dog back in my possession in a safe spot, so I can reassess the situation and say, hey, you know what, maybe I thought that he was this kind of a dog and needed to be in this kind of family, but obviously I was a little bit off on that, and we'll try it again and try to get his second home to be correct. That is something that happens less than 1% of the time. So don't be scared of that happening. And if you're dealing with a reputable rescue group, they're going to do everything to make things right for you. But moreover, they're going to make things right for the dog. I've transported a lot of different things. Predominantly, it's just dogs. Occasionally, there will be a cat in the trailer with us. Everybody worries about that cat or cats, because the most I think I've ever had is 3 at a time. But everybody really worries about them being in the trailer with the dogs. And I realized that, fighting like cats and dogs, once everybody's in the trailer, everybody seems to operate as one, and we all get along. I think that part is fascinating. I really do find that the dogs and the cats all just see it as another passenger beside them, and another passenger that's getting to go to their forever home and getting out of a bad situation. They don't seem to be scared of one another or mad at one another. It's really cool to watch. There is currently one book out. It is called Rescue Road. It was a New York Times bestseller. It was on the New York Times bestseller list for 6 months, 5 or 6 months.
Let me type that in. What's it called?
Rescue Road. Let me see if I can get it into the shot. There it is.
Okay, I'm going to have to get that.
It's a great book. It doesn't sugarcoat anything, and it doesn't make anything overtly dramatic either. It stays right in the middle, and it'll tell you all about Adela and myself. It'll also tell you a lot about the situation of dogs in the South. I recommend it. I really do. It's a decent read. I run a Facebook page also, Rescue Road Trips. And if you like following the journey, tune into that Rescue Road Trips page. I generally get pictures of everybody that I've picked up along the way. The volunteers, the angels, get pictures at each one of the angel stops and get them posted. And then I try to get a picture of every dog meeting its family for the first few moments and get those pictures put up.
So people can follow every journey you make on Facebook.
Yes, you can follow every journey I make on Facebook. And sometimes when our website is working correctly, you can actually see on the map where I'm at.
I want to start.
Now, let me put a little bit in about Facebook. Facebook never started out as something that I was big on, though I could quickly see what Facebook was a good tool for. If a dog is in the South and the adopter is in the North, they're not really sure of what's going on, whether they're going to get a pig in a poke or, is this some kind of scam or anything like that. So in order to try to back up the rescues and give this all legitimacy, I started publishing everything that I was doing on Facebook as I was doing it. So the people that are getting the dogs, and here's where we're going to go back to the 50% of the battles won or lost. I'm using Facebook to try to get that adopter as excited as I can possibly get them. So when the dog comes out of the trailer, everything is perfect. And that excitement just pops at that very moment. Here again, I didn't want to set the dog up to fail. I want to set the dog up to win. And I want all dogs to win. So we're using social media as a tool for that. But we're also using social media for next week's adopter or next month's adopter, so they can tune in and they can see, hey, this is a real thing. This is really happening. And I should be confident that this isn't some kind of scam. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger, and we're going to go ahead and save this dog. So I've used social media in my own way to help save even more dogs. From the very beginning, from those first 3 dogs, yes, I'm doing it because I love being with the dogs. There's nothing any greater than that. And I will tell you that, you asked earlier about what's it like being in a van. If a dog has a hole in it, something unpleasant will come out of that hole, and you will have to deal with it. And you know what? That doesn't matter. It just makes the whole experience even better. I just love being with the dogs, taking care of their needs, helping them out, and spending a week cooped up in a 50-foot trailer with them. Some people think you're nuts, and I can't think of anything I'd much rather do.
Is there anything else you want to say or address? Somebody said they see a movie in the making. Have you been contacted about that yet?
Throughout the years, there has been a lot of talk, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, well, we'll be waiting.
All of the talk has always ended up being it's never been the right fit.
What do you mean it's never been the right fit? This is a great story.
Every pitch that's been made, it just hasn't been correct. When I leave, I'm going out to help dogs, and I want to help those dogs. I am not going out to make a movie and to make it's about the dogs. Let's not forget that it is about the dogs. And if you want to give them the back seat, then I'm not into it. I'm into helping the dogs. So if the dogs would have to get put in the back seat for the movie, no, I'm not. It's not the right fit at that point.
You know, I just got to say, I love you guys. You guys are great, both you and Adela.
And I'd also like to say that I can't believe the hour's up already. I was so nervous about starting this. I was like, I am not going to be able to talk to her for an hour. I doubt if I could talk to her for 5 minutes. The hour's already up.
Yep.
I wish we had another hour.
Yeah, I know. This goes by fast, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why I have a way of keeping people talking. Imagining all
if you watch the news every day, you're going to see what a bad place the world really is. So I try not to focus on the really big problems. I'll focus on Eleanor's problem and the small things and the small victories. And those small victories will get me through. Just where she's at right now, we're at a tremendous victory. We got her legs are all set, and she's doing fine. So I will focus on that. Once I get her into the home, I've helped her out, I've helped the adopter out, and possibly in some small way, I've helped the world out a little bit just by making one small difference. And if every one of us went out and just tried to make just one small difference, instead of going out and trying to change everything, just trying to make one little difference in your day. You know, that might be just by patting a dog on its head or smiling at someone as they pass you on the sidewalk. You know, just try to make a little bit of a difference, and the world will end up being a better place if we all try.
Absolutely. Absolutely.